It was a cold December morning in the heart of New York City, and the streets of Midtown Manhattan were already buzzing with the usual chaos of a Wednesday rush hour. Business executives in sharp suits, tourists snapping photos, yellow cabs honking through gridlocked intersections. Just another ordinary morning in the city that never sleeps. But at approximately 6:44 a.m. on December 4th, 2024, outside the glass doors of the New York Hilton Midtown, something happened that would stop the entire country cold, ignite a national debate, divide public opinion straight down the middle, and produce one of the most explosive, complex, and deeply disturbing criminal cases America has witnessed in decades. A man in a mask stepped out of the morning crowd, raised a gun fitted with a silencer, and shot Brian Thompson, the 50-year-old CEO of UnitedHealthcare, the largest health insurer in the United States, from behind. Thompson collapsed on the sidewalk. He was rushed to the hospital. He did not survive. The killing sent immediate shockwaves through Wall Street, corporate America, and living rooms across the nation. Thompson had spent 2 decades at UnitedHealthcare and became chief executive officer of the company's insurance division in 2021, leading the largest health insurer in the United States, serving tens of millions of Americans and generating hundreds of billions of dollars in annual revenue. He was a husband, a father of 2 children, and by every account, a man who had worked his entire professional life to reach the very top of his industry. He was in New York that morning to meet Wall Street investors, a routine business trip that would become the last morning of his life. Surveillance video showed a masked gunman shooting Thompson from behind as the executive walked to his company's annual investor conference. The gunman then fled the scene on a bicycle, disappearing into the city as if he had simply vanished into the morning air. My blog, PBS. What followed was a 5-day nationwide manhunt that gripped the entire country. The NYPD released surveillance images. A masked man with a backpack, athletic build, moving with calm, deliberate purpose. Tips flooded in from across the country. The face behind the mask was still unknown. Then, on December 9th, 2024, a McDonald's employee in Altoona, Pennsylvania, a small town roughly 230 miles west of Manhattan, recognized a young man sitting quietly in the restaurant from the photographs the NYPD had released to the public. Police were called. The man first gave a fake name and a New Jersey ID to police. But what officers found in his backpack told a very different story, and the name that emerged would become one of the most searched names in America almost overnight. Luigi Mangione. Prime-timer. He was an Ivy League graduate and the valedictorian of his class at a private all-boys prep school in Baltimore, where his wealthy family is prominent in the real estate business and owns country clubs and golf courses. Luigi Nicholas Mangione was born on May 6, 1998, and graduated with both a bachelor's and master's degree in computer science from the University of Pennsylvania. He was described by friends as humble, brilliant, kind, and destined for great things. He had completed research internships at Johns Hopkins, worked for Stanford's AI program, and built a video game development club at Penn from the ground up. He had no prior criminal record, no history of violence, not a single warning sign that the people who knew him could point to. He was absolutely not a violent person as far as I could tell, his former roommate told ABC News. And yet, here he was, sitting in a small-town McDonald's in Pennsylvania, allegedly carrying a 3D-printed ghost gun, fake identification, and a handwritten document that police described as a manifesto. A BC7 Wikipedia officers recovered a handwritten document that NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch said speaks to both his motivation and mindset, with the document indicating Mangione had frustrations with the healthcare system in the United States and appeared to hold deep ill will toward corporate America. In his 262-word note, He described Thompson's murder as a symbolic takedown and a direct challenge to UnitedHealthcare's alleged corruption and power. Prosecutors also revealed that the words delay, deny, and depose were written on the ammunition, a phrase widely used to describe how insurance companies avoid paying out claims to patients. The details were chilling, the planning was calculated, and the motive, at least in Mangione's own hand, was crystal clear. The Daily Pennsylvanian +2. But what made this case unlike almost any other in modern American history was what happened next. Not in a courtroom, but in the court of public opinion. Rather than universal condemnation, Mangione became a polarizing, even celebrated figure to a significant portion of the American public. A Give Send Go fundraiser raised over $1.4 million for his legal defense as of January 2026, with donors citing frustrations with the healthcare system as their reason for contributing. Supporters showed up outside his court appearances in Free Luigi t-shirts. Online communities treated him as a symbol of resistance against corporate greed. A December 2024 online poll found that opinions on Mangione varied dramatically by age, with younger respondents expressing far more favorable views than those over 45. The killing sparked a raw, furious national conversation about health insurance claim denials, corporate profits, and the quiet suffering of millions of Americans trapped in a system many felt was designed to fail them. Wikipedia. The legal road ahead is equally dramatic. In September 2025, a New York State judge dismissed Mangione's 2 terrorism-related murder charges, ruling that prosecutors presented no evidence to meet the legal threshold for terrorism. Federal prosecutors initially sought the death penalty, but a federal judge dismissed the murder through use of a firearm charge in January 2026, meaning the death penalty is no longer available in the federal case. Then came the evidence battle, one of the most closely watched legal fights of 2026. Judge Gregory Caro ruled on May 18, 2026, that a 3D printed pistol prosecutors say matches the murder weapon, and a notebook describing wanting to harm a health insurance executive can be used as evidence at trial, a major win for prosecutors. However, the judge excluded several other items found in Mangione's backpack, including a loaded gun magazine, a cell phone, and a passport, ruling they were the result of an unlawful warrantless search. His state murder trial is scheduled to begin September 8, 2026, and his defense team has announced they will use a psychiatric defense for arguing extreme emotional disturbance, which, if proven, could reduce his charge from second-degree murder to first-degree manslaughter. Wikipedia +3 America is watching, and it will keep watching because this case is not just a murder trial, it is a mirror held up to the soul of the nation itself. It asks uncomfortable questions that have no easy answers. What happens when a young man with every privilege, every opportunity, and every advantage that this country can offer reaches a breaking point? Not from personal desperation, but from what he believed was moral outrage. What does it mean when millions of Americans quietly nod in recognition at the words written in a killer's manifesto? The conflicting reactions have highlighted deep divisions in how Americans view healthcare, wealth, and accountability. Brian Thompson was a real man, a father, and a human being who deserved to come home that morning. And Luigi Mangione, whatever the jury ultimately decides, has already changed the conversation in this country forever. The trial of 2026 has not even begun, and yet, in many ways, America is already on trial alongside him,